Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Burning Truth 6th Anniversary Special Extraordinaire, live from the sub-basement underneath the west wing of the Burns family mansion. I am your host, and normally I don't get introduced first, but hey, special events and everything, John Bloor. Alongside me, we have Matt Burns. Say hi, Matt.
Hello.
And the other bloke.
Oh. Here we go, away.
Sorry, Chris.
Hey there, guys.
No, not him.
Not you. You're not the host.
And together we are The Burning Truth, the soon-to-be award-winning wrestling podcast, sponsored by 1-800 Matt Burns.
No.
All you can possibly need one-stop shop for Matt Burns merchandise and equipment.
I'm not. Will you stop with the Matt Burns is a whore skit? I'm not a whore. I'm not a merch whore. Anyway.
And here we go, straight into this week's warning. Ladies and gentlemen, this broadcast may contain conversations and therefore language not suitable for listeners of a nervous disposition, younger listeners, and other listeners. Please also be aware that this broadcast will contain a higher than usual level of absolute bollocks and strobe lighting effects.
So don't say fucker bugger.
Yeah, but go away!
Jesus.
And for the love of all that is sensible,
can someone bring the real third host?
For the
can
love
someone please?
The real third host, the illegitimate love child of a 90s Formula One driver and the first ever AEW champion. That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I welcome you to the insanity that is James Irvine.
James, the man of three voices, Irvine.
Yeah.
Voice number 4, Armbar. Wait, hang on, no, that link doesn't work.
Voice number 5, Herbert.
Go away!
Number 6,
Mickey Mouse.
voice number 7, just me.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end the show. Thanks for listening. Speak to you next week.
Yeah, we're done. We're all done.
Right.
Welcome to the 6th-year anniversary.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, what this is a sobering reminder of precisely why we normally let Matt Burns be fundamentally in charge of the content and production of The Burning Truth, and why, as of this minute, right now, he is retaking control for his own
Right, I'm taking
sake.
control. Right. Control's back into position. There we go. Done. We're back.
No.
Right.
Why would you say that? Why? Why would you say it in that context? Why?
Okay, I'll rephrase it.
Thank
I
you.
am assuming control of the show, controlling how the pace goes.
Oh,
And
that
actually-
such a pervert.
You're trying to. You are trying to assume control. Unfortunately, due to the wonders of modern technology, this show is coming to you from 3 separate locations, one of which is actually the sub-basement under the west wing of the Burns family mansion, where Matt Burns and his array of expensively assembled lawyers and ancient and needy butlers are located. The second is the hovel in the east of England, where I am currently shivering because I can't afford to put the heating on. And the third is the basement of Eddie Irvine's house, which James has broken into because he doesn't have a house of his own.
I don't have a place to live. I feel
The point being,
so
however, that because we're in 3 separate places, Mr. Matt Burns does not have the capacity to mute either of our microphones. Can you tell?
I may have to go to psychotherapy after this episode.
Listen, right, we're just having fun because normally we do The Burning Truth. It's serious. We talk about wrestling. We try our best. Sometimes it's bloody difficult, given the subject matter we have to talk about, to be positive about one of our favourite subjects, which is professional wrestling.
Can I say it now? The watershed warning's been made.
Yes.
I will just say it again, just for the sake of argument. Mr. Irvine is about to use language that some of you may find distasteful. So if you don't like that, please put your fingers in your ears and hum for the next 10 seconds.
I would like to say that the burning truth burns like when I pee.
Then you should go to your doctor.
Yes, go to your local doctor and immediately inform them in the full excruciating detail.
I've been told to go see a gynecologist because I'm a bit of a cunt.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is why, if you would like to make any donations via the GoFundMe page I'm about to set up towards Matt Burns' recovery and psychological healthcare, because trust me, he's going to have a big bill at the end of this show, please feel free.
I need the help. I need the help.
Listen, right, this is the burning truth. This is a special show to celebrate the fact that we, or, well, at least Matt Burns, and to a lesser extent me, and very recently Mr. Irvine, have been doing this show on and off for 6 years, constantly in the case of Matt Burns, and we think it's quite a big milestone. So, rather than have any content or particular schedule or structure to this week's show, trust me, you'll miss them now they're gone. They'll be back next week. We're just going to talk nonsense and celebrate the fact that in all that time, pretty much the only constant in the entire world of wrestling in that 6-year period has been... Has NXT done a bad pay-per-view yet? Nope. Move on.
I thought you'd say something nice about Matt Burns then, but no, he turned into...
Well, no, the constant of the UK wrestling scene is, of course, none other than... What's your nickname this week? The Funk's old bad boy brother, Matt Superstar Burns.
Bad boy, Matt Burns.
Right, anyway... All I'll just say is, I just find it really weird how Irvine suddenly picked out the one word that used to be synonymous on this broadcast from many, many years ago from past hosts.
What, the worst word in the English language?
Yep.
And the favourite word of the former host, who is no longer here. I'm sorry, don't get me wrong. Still perfectly alive and healthy, just not broadcasting on the show anymore. Don't even think about confusing those words.
And on top of that is currently busy doing his own projects, which is why he ended up leaving, which was on all good terms and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just, wow, 6 years.
6 years of this, and yet it was only about 6 or 7 weeks ago when Mr. Matt Burns suddenly started thinking that it wasn't such a good idea anymore. Coincidentally, around about the same time that Irvine started broadcasting. I wonder if they're linked.
I just thought of something.
What did you think of?
Jamie wasn't here last week, was he?
I was not, no.
Wasn't.
Would you like to tell me what I missed?
Yeah. I hope you're okay with streaming, doing live game streaming soon.
Yeah.
Live game streaming?
Yeah.
Well, you have to bear in mind, I am a very boring gamer. If people want to me doing endless practice and qualifying and race laps in endless numbers of driving...
You can actually watch him on OnlyFans as well.
Where Selena Vega is right now, actually, ironically.
Damn, better set myself up an account. Oh, sorry. Oh, Eddie.
Oh, quick, change routine.
It's just the way he's dressed. But anyway.
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
Yeah, hang on, right, record scratch, rewind that. Live game broadcasting?
Yeah, basically we had someone suggest us, because there was talk of doing live game streaming, and someone suggested horror.
Hey, guess what's my least favourite subject for both films and computer games, everybody?
Yeah, exactly. We're all in the same boat.
The same freaking boat. The problem is...
I would honestly rather do a live, minute by minute. Once you've logged in, you cannot log out for the duration. I'm going to do the whole Le Mans 24 hours, live and in real time. And every time I crash, I'm going to restart the whole thing, broadcast. Than go anywhere near anything that has the word horror attached to it.
I would rather peel back my foreskin and literally pour
gasoline on the tip.
I would rather watch an entire episode of Telly Addicts with sellotape over my mouth so that I had to swallow my own vomit.
Anyway, let's leave it that. As horrific that just sounded from JB wanting to do that. That sounds scary enough in its own right.
JB, why would you say that? It's disgusting.
But anyway, the point being is, we just mentioned it, and the funny thing about it is, you don't have to actually agree to it. Unfortunately, me and Irvine have fallen into the trap of, oh great, we've agreed to it. Or more importantly, I've agreed to it.
You bellend. I'm sorry for the lack of warning before the language, but Matt Bellend Burns, what were you thinking?
Oh, no. What I'm saying to you is I agreed to it. Irvine got roped into it.
I did
You're
not.
actually off the hook.
I am well off the hook. Count me out.
Although he will be doing some game streaming that will be non-horror.
Now that, on the other hand, as I said, I'm very boring. I only ever play driving games. If you want me to stream them, I'm sure I can, but I'm sure anyone that is nowhere near as much of a motorsport nerd as me, that's 99.998% of the planet, will find them very boring. I am literally the James May of computer games. There's a very small niche of people who enjoy what I do, but the rest of the world just look at it, scratch their head, and go, "People enjoy this? What is wrong?"
Why have I all of a sudden just got James May hovering over an Xbox control game? You know, you've got the XY button, and you've got to clean them off with a bit of rag and a bit of alcohol.
Of course,
once
you've done the lap, you can come into the pits, and then you can adjust the differential, which is very much like what I do to my Hillman Imp on Wednesdays.
Well, what you can do also is that you can get out and you can refuel your car, and you can just come down. Fuck it,
that was going into absolute chaos.
Because I was very drunk.
Jeremy, why are you doing that, Jeremy?
Right, we've gone into absolute chaos. I'm going to have to
moving on in the finest Top Gear tradition.
Yeah, basically,
I'm not even sorry.
We may have JB doing it. Irvine's going to be represented doing at least a scary game.
I don't like scary games, but I will happily submit one video of 1 minute length duration, which will show the world exactly why I don't play football games. Because I will go online on Pro Evo 2020 and submit the first minute of the match during me playing an online game, in which, during that 1 minute, I will go 17-0 down to a Taiwanese 4-year-old. And then I will never play again. Trust me, the language after the 17th goal goes in will make a pimp blush.
Whoa. I'm sorry, but you've still got a lot to compete with, because do bear in mind that the Burning Truth did used to have TBT games where I was up against the former host.
Oh, yeah.
And someone ended up making a comeback.
I was once in the room when you did this.
Yeah, and if you remember the language that was heard on that episode?
Oh, mate, seriously, the language that was heard on the episode. I remember how much you nearly burned a hole in the microphone mute button and all the stuff that the people listening didn't hear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, dear me, yeah. So if you'd like a return to that, whoever suggested it, thank you, you filthy sadist.
Teak?
Yeah. Shall we tell him who did it?
Was it Teak?
Yeah.
Oh, I take it back. I don't know them at all, and they might indeed be a nice person. But they may have ulterior motives which are quite dark, which they'll understand why I'm saying that when they've seen us stream games.
That's fine, but the difference is, however, I've set myself up deliberately because I've even mentioned it on the weekly TBT blog.
Yes. Now, how's that going to work? Just asking, going forward. Are we going to rotate it? Like,
we can potentially
every 3 weeks, or are there going to be 3 blogs a week, one from each of us?
No. Once a week.
Okay.
Rotation. And if you can't make it, one of us will fill in.
Okay, that's fine. I can conveniently have a nasty cough that means I can't type every 3 weeks from now until doomsday.
Because you can't type.
Or, you know, I don't know, flatulence.
We have also
means I can't get within breathing distance of the keyboard or something.
We have also turned around and said it can be a vlog as well. So you can also have it as audio if necessary.
That is good to know.
An alternative.
Vlog. A video log.
A vlog.
Yes.
Which,
Not an A-log.
Not, yeah, no, he said vlog, as in abbreviation of very large log, which is what anything I broadcast will resemble.
A large poo.
Which is very similar to what anything I broadcast will resemble in entertainment levels. But let's not go there. Anyway. So yeah, we've got that to look forward to in the coming weeks. Plus, we're going to expand the Burning Truths non-wrestling section, possibly, and not just shoehorn in 10 minutes at the end every once in a while.
Yeah.
And not just talk about Formula One either. I'm sure there are other things that myself and Mr. Irvine and you, Mr. Matt Burns, like outside of wrestling that we can, at least 2 out of the 3 of us can talk about.
TV, music, games.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah. The whole idea of what have you been watching on streaming platforms, names of which will be mentioned when we say what we're watching, but there's no point advertising them for free now. This week.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Because let's face it, have you seen how many TV streaming platforms there are out there? And how few hours there are in a day? How do they expect people to have jobs and watch all this shit?
And yet, that's the UK ones you're referring to. Have you seen the ones over in America?
The ones in America, the manga-specific ones in Japan, there's many.
There's you've got Stars, HBO Max.
Stars Play. I've got that as part of my Amazon Prime, subscription.
Yeah, but at least with Amazon Prime, they've actually got that on. However, cheers for the reminder, actually. Unfortunately, we've got to mention something to Teak, actually. Unfortunately, the suggestion of watching it on Amazon Prime is incorrect. You probably have to be overseas to watch it.
What in particular?
Oh, yeah, you can't kill Arquette.
Can't kill David Arquette.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, it must be fairly similar to the discussions I have had with some of my Xbox Live friends who are from across the other side of the pond, and one of whom works for Microsoft, about how over here all the DC TV Universe stuff is on Amazon Prime, but for them in North America, it's all on Netflix.
And
I don't understand why the different territory makes the difference, but I'm sure that it's not just limited to DC TV stuff. I'm sure there are a lot of cases where that is the case.
I think it's more
issues, isn't it?
I think it's more so to do with distribution issues and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
it depends on
region locks.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the case. Anything that we do in future and anything that we mention, we will put the disclaimer out before we talk about it as well, but it's worth saying now. We are talking about from the point of view of watching in the UK, which, for the sake of geography, if not politics, is still within the EU. So it will be EU region specific. We will mention that before we say anything, but obviously, if you're listening in Australia or America or the Far East or anywhere else that isn't Europe, that may not be how it works for you, but that's just a hurdle of life, apparently.
Anyway, seeing as we are going completely off the wall crazy, 6-year anniversary, and we haven't even touched any of the original talking points that we were going to be covering.
Balls to the wall.
Shall we do some of them now? I mean, we can still drag it kicking and screaming back towards wrestling if you really, really want to.
No, don't take me there. Don't take me back to that god-awful...
Right, Burns, get the chloroform rag, knock him out. We're going to have to take him quietly.
Right, because I'll tell you this now. We'll cover some quick topics right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Please, let's make them quick.
Unfortunately, this week, we had the unfortunate news of hearing about CJ Connors, who is a British wrestler, who actually even wrestled for the UKWA, is also wrestled for Shropshire Wrestling Alliance, and many other companies, including the academy as well.
Yes.
As well.
I would just like to point out the unfortunate news is not where you thought that. You might have thought that was going for a second there.
No. He has unfortunately decided to retire from wrestling. There's no reason why he has retired, but the thing is...
None given, yeah.
None given. Regardless of it, from myself and most likely from the Burning Truth, we hope nothing but the best for CJ Connors. And
In
the door
all his
is
future
always
endeavours.
open. Yeah, and the door's always open if necessary.
Oh, if he wants to come on the Burning Truth and give his reasons and talk about it, then yeah, great.
He'd be more than welcome, but he'd even just be welcome just to even just be a guest and just have a sit down chat
and talk about his wrestling career in general and everything. But it'll be fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unfortunately, yeah, he has retired from wrestling with immediate effect, which is, to anyone who's ever seen him in a wrestling show, a bit tragic, really.
Talented. Very talented. Very
retired.
talented.
Yes, he was very talented.
The good thing about it is, and the interesting thing about it is, I actually caught up with his now former tag team partner, Joe Black.
Yeah.
And he stated he was quite shocked by the news. However, he's going, instead of focusing on it being all bad, what he's going to do is he's going to be paying tribute to him in some form of way. As to what that tribute will be, we'll have to wait and see when we're back into wrestling.
Only Joe Black knows. Yes. All will be revealed in due course.
Pretty much.
But it's needless to say that Connor's retiring is actually a noteworthy event. It's not like when I just stopped turning up to wrestling shows and I think the granny in the third row noticed and no one else did.
The crowd noticed when you left. The crowd did notice when you left, because if you recall, you were sitting in the crowd when someone started mentioning names, and who got the pop of the night?
Oh, yeah, I remember. I got relegated to being a referee, and then I got relegated to sitting front row ringside, and I got the largest pop when a list of names was reeled off. Yeah. That was, however, the exception rather than the rule.
That was hilarious.
Well, yeah, it was a very large thumb in the eye to the person who was making the list, and to a couple of the people backstage who probably weren't expecting that. But let's not dwell on it.
Yeah, correct. Because anyway, let's just get back onto the topics as such. I want to cover one more topic, which is to do with WWE. Don't worry, I'm going to be very quick.
He's going to make it quick, but it's not going to be painless.
What the hell is it with WWE, and more importantly, Vince McMahon, with having someone supposedly turn heel, or we don't know if they're heel or not. Okay, if you want to make sure to clarify that they turned, insert dickhead.
Essentially, ladies and gentlemen, what Mr. Burns is referring to is WWE's insane predilection for at least once a show, 3 times a week, every week, since 1984. Somebody gets punched in the balls.
Wait.
Either punched, kicked, headbutted, something.
Whoa,
this week, Jey Uso.
Whoa. Hold your horses, Mr. Burns.
Right.
Weren't you the victim of a certain nutshot?
Oh, yes, I do believe that a certain legendary bastard might have punched you square in the ballsack.
Oh, it wasn't a punch, it was a nice kick.
Ah, yes.
Don't talk about it.
Did you hear that?
Thank you, Maya.
Thank
you, Maya.
That was the sound of Matt Burns reliving that moment where
his
balls are literally in his stomach.
Don't want to talk about it.
Because of the legend that is Keith Maya.
Don't want to talk about it.
Well, no, you don't have to, but we are, so just bear with us a minute.
You don't have to.
Yeah, needless to say, this may be the root cause of why, A, he notices them, B, why they annoy him so much when WWE does one every week without fail.
Yes.
At least with WWE, it's only once.
You
The only thing that WWE overdo more than a dip kick or a nut shot is a tit through the table spot.
Or, actually, no, at current WWE, the only thing they overdo more than both of those things is a pointless fucking heel turn.
Or face turn.
Yeah. But heel turn specifically, because they seem to be far more common.
Sorry.
Anyway.
But yes, so WWE is obsessed with that sort of thing, and we personally, at The Burning Truth, would like to see it take a back seat, along with pointless dives to the outside 3 minutes into a match, and Shotzi Blackheart's continued and repeated attempts to break her own spine. Can they all be stopped, please?
Hashtag please don't die. Shotzi
Yes.
Blackheart.
Yes, you are a valued member of the
Maybe-
NXT roster.
Maybe
Your
that's why
spine is
she was
vitally important to that.
Maybe that's why she was reserved to host of Halloween Havoc.
Oh, what? Because there was weapons and gimmick matches involved, and they just thought it's a risk we're not willing to take.
Take her out. Let's leave her out.
She
Put her
might
as
be,
the
but
host.
we're not. So just let her host it. It's much more fun.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Also, is it just me, or what was the point of making the Halloween Havoc Wheel of Deal, or whatever it's officially called, and putting one of the sections on it that says Shotzi's Choice match, and then not fucking using it?
Saving it for next year.
Well, probably.
It could have been worse.
How so?
We could have had the infamous match that happened in WCW.
What? Which
Oh, God, I just
particular
realised-
item on a poll are you referring?
No, I just realised he was involved in the match as well.
Well, it was an
I'm
item on a
referring-
poll match.
I am referring to the infamous coal miner's glove.
Yes.
To quote some 41, we're in too deep.
Yes.
And to make it even worse, do you know who was in that match?
The coal miner's glove match alongside Sting.
Yeah.
Was it Norman Smiley?
Nope.
Vampiro?
Nope.
Running mouth?
I'm surprised
El
actually
Gigante?
No.
I can't
He
think of any
wasn't in
more really
WCW long.
obscure borderline WCW people, so just tell me.
No. He is somebody who's wrestled for WWE and never won a championship.
Ooh!
Wrestled for WWE and never won a championship.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just tugged into who I'm referring to, haven't you, Irvine?
I knew who you were on about.
I didn't even...
Just a
I
quick
complete-
aside to Matt, but did we mention him before we came on air?
Yes.
Yes. His initials are CC. Complete cunt.
No, not that one.
No, does he have a penchant for carrying a large dumb animal to the ring in a bag? And I'm not talking about his tag team partner, the other half of the Bushwhackers.
It's not a dumb animal.
Is that who we're talking about?
We're on
Let's
about...
just put it this
of course.
way. He reaches in and he pulls out his snake.
In a show aimed at children. Round of applause to Vincent McMahon there.
And he's
You
also
like
terrified
to
of
see
him
my
in real life.
python?
Sweet Jesus.
Whoa. Before that gets out of hand, it is Jake the Snake Roberts. I'll just clear that
Yeah.
straight away. That's who it is. That's why I'm leaving it there. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Moving
Hey,
swiftly.
you're spoiling my food.
Okay, moving on.
Unfortunately, we have to, because otherwise we'll get lawsuits.
Pretty much. And probably some upset people. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, we've got to cover one thing. Is yes, we've covered a bit of WWE. Yes, we've covered a bit of British wrestling. However, we've got to go back to British wrestling. And we've got to break a Burning Truth rule right now.
We've got to break a Burning Truth rule. Uh-oh.
Which is... Normally, we don't go into a full...
Got to mention a wrestler by their real name.
Nope.
Because we all know what your real name is, don't we? Matthew Burnside. Nice abbreviation, by the way.
Matthew Nigel Burns. Thank you very much.
Burnside. Matthew Nigel Burnside III. Anyway, what rule is it we're actually breaking?
Normally, all I'll state we normally have the rule of there's two topics we don't ever normally discuss, mainly as a topic, usually.
And this is just within the realm of the burning truth, not life in general. So those topics are not, we don't mention them because, frankly, polite society doesn't talk about them. Polite society does talk about these things. They just have no place on the burning truth.
Correct. Which is, we don't ever talk about religion because that's not our case, because that's not a topic that we discuss, because we are in support of all religion.
Show about wrestling overly.
And we're in support of all religion.
Yes, they're all equally useless. I mean,
they're all equally important.
Sorry, did I say valid? Yes, they're all equally valid.
Right.
Yes, because where else can you go? Like a comic book shop? Or, did I just say that? To literally read up on imaginary people?
I'm not saying anything.
Anyway. For
moving
this
on.
reason, we do not kick the hornet's nest of religion, just like we do not mention the other subject, which is possibly the only thing that's a bigger hornet's nest than the R word.
Catholic Church, because
Will you stop,
the choirs,
Herbert,
zip it.
You will be arrested.
Sweet.
Yeah, the thing is, though, when we say what the other subject that we don't mention is, he's going to do his other impression, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Anyway.
Because the other subject is, in case you hadn't worked it out yet, politics.
Politics.
Yeah. So called because most of the time it's a load of boring men talking absolute bollocks.
Bollocks.
Pretty much.
Where else could you go and sit and watch a load of overpaid, sleepy people talking?
Have a nap on expensively maintained leatherette benches.
Right.
I'm going to
Before it gets out of hand, I'm going to have to take over just for now.
No.
In regards
Probably
to
safest,
no,
if slightly boring.
I'm going to have to do this now because we're going way off topic. We need to keep on focus because we need to make sure, because this is a topic that we don't normally ever talk about.
Well, no, this is politics. This is important. First of all, there are two things we need to say. Number one, in all seriousness, because you'd have to live under a rock on Mars not to know this, congratulations, Joe Biden, on becoming president-elect, not quite president yet, just president-elect of America.
And will be president in January 2020. We'll leave it there.
January? No, they're not actually doing the reboot where they start 2020 again, like I suggested. So it'll be 2021. You didn't, but okay.
Okay, I was up at the tongue. Okay, 2021. There you go. Anyway, moving on.
To the other
We've got to talk about the UK politics. Or British politics.
And the grubby little hornet's nest of worms that is.
Now, my issue is, I don't normally ever bring up politics unless it's only ever briefly mentioned in regards to, in the past, when we've been mentioning hashtag speaking out, because you got brought up in front of Parliament, that has happened. And that was just clarified. And we pointed you towards to where to look for it. This is the topic we're going to have to cover.
The simple fact of it's there, look for it on your own time. But this topic we're actually going to have to discuss because, well, it mentions wrestling. It mentions wrestling, which brings it into our realm of, our realm.
Basically, we don't normally ever get involved in politics because politics don't normally ever get involved with us, usually. Unfortunately, somebody in the House of Parliament decided to poke the bear.
Yeah, some probably never actually watched a minute of it in television, much less been to a live show, knows absolutely bugger all about it, but has probably seen, a 5-second clip of something embarrassing that even we as wrestling fans would go, yeah, that's not a great advert for our sport thing on TV once, and therefore has decided to mock professional wrestling.
Oh, you mean time when I saw a wrestling promotion and a certain wrestler decided to, I can telepathically twist your dick.
No, I don't mean like that at all. But okay, moving swiftly on. Basically,
It's me palming my face.
basically, a Conservative MP has
Wanker.
belittled wrestling, and we feel, without knowing a great deal about it, but obviously we have to defend the sport that we love from meddling people. It's a little bit like when, people in the media who do reviews and stuff slate, actually also politicians are guilty of this again, slate a book or film or piece of music for being shit, violent, unacceptable, having never actually read, watched or listened to it.
Can I just point this out in regards to who it involves?
Please do.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, this is in regards to the Conservative MP, Sir Peter Bottomley.
Hashtag appropriate name.
Right.
As if that's
Now,
like a toppy-nosed twat.
just stop where you are. Let me just take this over for a minute. Yes.
Right, yeah. Let's let Matt Burns do this because we need to have our serious trousers on. And you and me have been overindulging a bit over the lead up to Christmas period, Irvine, and neither of our pairs fit. So let's let Mr. Burns handle this.
Now, my issue is with this is I can understand that, in regards to the nature of the topic of what he was covering in the fact of coronavirus restrictions, the fact that he's making fun of wrestling, professional wrestling, stating, well, we all know that wrestling cannot be COVID protected or anything, or have any restrictions, and that it's not a legitimate sporting event as such. Now, we're not saying as such, but the problem is that we have with it is, weren't they a few weeks ago just now saying, please don't poke fun at our jobs, even though we somehow just recently gained a massive increase in our wages. Please don't poke fun at us.
By the way, we can turn down, but strangely, we never do.
And then has the nerve to turn around and say,
Yes. Well, we sit in a chamber all day shouting over each other, a bit like those three morons on The Burning Truth, and we earn an absolute fortune for doing it. But let's mock the men in the spangly pants.
Yeah, basically, they're taking money off us while looking down on us. If I'm just, I'll even quote a tweet actually from, I believe, Wrestle Island, who literally pointed out and put a clip up stating the kind of respect we will get as a business off these lot. Mind blown emoji, shrug shoulders emoji. They will take money off us whilst looking down on us. Angry face emoji, which was actually posted. Let me finish. Which was posted on the 4th of November at 10:54 p.m. That was from Wrestle Island. Then to follow it up, we also had an additional tweet from Lucia Lee, who literally stated where the Tories not bitching and moaning a couple of weeks ago about being made fun of, yet it's fine to take the piss out of our profession, is it? Never trust a Tory. Which, we're not getting involved in the argument between Tory and Labour. That's up to...
Or Liberal Democrat, or Green, or Plaid Cymru, or SNP, or any of the other myriad of political parties that are all available.
Thank you very much, JB, for that little add-on. I was hoping you would do that. Thank you very much. And the point being is, my issue I have with it is the fact that you are making a mockery of the, and I believe even when he finished his mocking, he even turned around and, I'll pass over to the next wrestler. In the statement, almost, instead of the next honourable gentleman, the next honourable wrestler or something like that. It just doesn't make...
Essentially...
I'm going to have to say the line, it just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Don't make
Where's
sense.
my monster? But anyway, the point being is, for him to then put out an apology stating, well, yes...
This being the Tories, it will have been a fundamental non-apology.
It was. To be honest with you, from what I can see from the apology, it comes across as more of a backhanded apology from my perspective.
It was the kind of apology made famous by the notoriously inhuman, lack of empathy machine Priti Patel. I'm sorry if I offended you.
Pretty much.
Well, I'm sorry if you're offended, but I didn't do it. That kind of, absolute dodging of responsibility.
Now,
crap.
he is saying he did try to reiterate and retract by saying, the excluded should be included, which is okay. That's fine. He's saying that, the businesses should be protected, but to sit there and state that wrestling shouldn't be involved in any form of protection of, business wise, is still immoral, because I'm sorry, but wrestling is still a form of entertainment. And what makes me laugh in regards to this is the fact that he's making this claim, right? And this is no shot at NXT UK whatsoever, because I've got nothing but respect for it.
Absolutely.
But if they are stating that we can't help small businesses out, and that if any small businesses are getting involved in doing shows, they should be punished.
Rank hypocrisy from a government that seems to fundamentally dislike anything that can come under the broad brushstroke of the arts, be it music, theatre, wrestling, whatever. They seem to hate it all for reasons that we can't quite get to the bottom of, but I don't understand why, because it's pointless and stupid.
But at the same time, this is where my hypocrisy comes into play. Is they're fine in stating that they'll find any British wrestling company over here and as such, but NXT UK is all fine because it's got the WWE title to it.
So that means it's American. So that means all hail Trump. Oh wait, hang on, no, you can't do that anymore.
No, don't bring that up again. And anyway, let's just move on. And the point being is, this is where they're saying that they could be making a claim that they're paying enough tax or being billed. So basically, what they're trying to say is, if you've got enough money to cover the fines, you can keep going.
Oh, that's pretty much the incumbent Tory way of life. They've all got so much money that rather than actually have prison sentences or, meaningful fines that people who are not living on the minimum wage would actually be bothered by, it's like, slap on the wrist, pay 800 quid, don't do it again, which bloody MP won't even notice, but which those of us on the breadline, it's absolutely crippling to. It's just another crass display of double standards from a bunch of out-of-touch old tossers, and it's frankly annoying and it needs to stop.
For me, I feel as though it should be more than just an actual apology, and oddly enough, a Labour MP, yes, this might shock you, a Labour MP has actually turned around and stated he's not exactly happy with this himself.
Can you name them?
Yes, I can. It's actually Labour's Alex David Jones.
Amen to him.
Who chairs the APPG wrestling group.
Can he have a short run with the NXT UK Heritage Cup as a grateful thank you?
And I believe he stated Peter Bromley is completely out of touch, mocking an industry which is suffering, and people that are losing their livelihoods is cruel, heartless, and unacceptable. I will continue to champion the British wrestling industry, as all MPs should.
Quite right, because it is another British industry which needs support from the government, which something tells me it's not getting.
Which, straight away, I'm not saying that we should be jumping all, that British wrestling should be jumping all over to Labour side as such. We still have to look at the, none of that. But I have to still say, respect to Alex David Jones in regards to this. And in case you want to know where the sources actually come from, for us to read out, this has actually come from a website known as TWM News. And if anybody wants the website to the source that we've used in regards to this, it is www.twm.news.
There you go. So therefore, if you'd like to do any further research and wish to come freely to your own conclusions, please do.
Yeah.
However, we at the Burning Truth do think that it's hypocrisy, and we stand behind what the Labour MP said wholeheartedly.
Avoid the word saying Labour. What we're trying to say is we're getting behind.
Defended the wrestling industry was
Alex
a
Davis
Labour
Jones.
MP. We stand behind him.
Yeah.
So the fact that he is a Labour MP is incidental. We stand behind any politician that stands up for wrestling.
Correct. And yeah, I agreed. As long as it's all above board and everything. But as for in regards to which side we're on the fence, we're not telling you to pick which side or anything in regards to it.
No,
when
we're
the time
simply
comes,
saying,
we
do a bit more
we
research
always yeah.
if you wish, and make up your own conclusion, whatever it may be.
I think that's about covers it. Or does Irvine want to put an input without Herbert?
Well, he's been desperately trying to get his sensible trousers to fit for the last 20 minutes. I wonder if he's succeeded yet.
Any luck?
No.
Shall we move
Okay,
on?
then. Let's move on.
No.
Right.
Nothing nice to say.
I will
So,
also
in
point
the tradition
out
of sensible people everywhere, you're saying nothing. Good choice.
Right.
Let's move on.
Good choice. However, I will also point out that in the said clip involving the words that were spoken, it does actually show Health Secretary Matt Hancock laughing at it as well. However, he did not respond to any request for comment from TWM News, so he's not responding in regards to it at all.
Right. Move on, because I'm biting my tongue so hard I'm going to bite the end off in a minute.
Oh, and with that all being said, let's move on, shall we?
Can I literally just fucking say something now? Because I'm ready to pull my penis off.
Well, like I said, I literally bit my tongue so hard not to say anything even remotely controversial that my tongue is now 3 inches shorter, and I'm surprised I'm not lisping. So yes, please go ahead.
I pulled on my penis so hard right now that it has gone up to 20 inches long.
And the less is that all you had to say, or do you have a relevant point?
I have a relevant point.
Well, less of the penis, more of the relevant point, please.
No, my penis is the relevant point. They can all
No,
go
it's not.
themselves.
Right, okay, he's clearly just gone into a...
Right, he's just gone into where he's upset, he's angry.
Yeah, no, yeah, but the thing is, I sense he has a vaguely sensible point. If we could just get over the euphemisms for a minute and, talk sensibly.
Yeah.
All I can say is that the UK politics, it doesn't matter who is talking in the House of Commons. They're all full of shit. They're all full of shit. All of them. Every single one of them. I don't care which side you sit on. Left, right, middle, up, down, diagonally, whatever. They're all full of shit. You can't believe a word any of them say.
Yes. I'm just trying to find the quote.
And while I believe JB is looking for a quote, I think I'll probably stall him for time. But anyway, the point being is we've had to cover a subject that we don't normally ever cover, and I hope that we do not have to cover this ever again.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Only with the exception of if you have to get an actual full-on apology and something coming positive from the situation that has occurred.
Probably not a good idea to invite them on the show, though.
No, probably not.
Because
I cannot find the author of the quote in question, so I'm going to put it to the Burning Truth listeners. If you know, please get in touch with us via our social media and inform me. But it is a semi-famous quote by a, I believe, very famous person that says, the kind of person that actively wants to be a politician is exactly the kind of person that every power should be made to fundamentally discourage them from being so.
No idea who that is myself.
I think I wanted to say Terry Pratchett, but I think it's an author or someone like that. But anyway, the point is, anyone that wants to be a politician really, 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 really badly should be immediately disqualified from trying to become one, because frankly, they usually want it for nefarious means.
Basically, try to go into a subject without any ill will or without any selfish reasons, is what my colleague is trying to say. Anyway,
please move on, because I'd rather have a
Moving on.
jumbo-sized enemy right now.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Right,
moving on.
The awkwardness of the last 15 minutes has highlighted why we don't normally talk about this, why this has been one of the most difficult periods of the broadcast history in all 6 years, and why we're not going to come back to it any year soon.
Because
Never
I'd rather
again.
inspect my prostate.
You'd rather inspect your own with a rusty ice cream scoop.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, we'll just go with that one. I was thinking something bigger.
You would rather remove your own appendix.
I'm sorry. I'm
with
going to have to
nothing
interrupt you
more
there.
than a
I'm
bottle
sorry.
of
I'm going to have to interrupt you there.
industrial-grade vodka and potato peeler.
Oh. Anyway, and I'm back in the room.
Yeah.
Right. All I'm just going to state is we're moving on, and let's talk about some future stuff, some non-wrestling stuff, and also possibly what we're going to be discussing next week if necessary. And also, of course, have we got any epic wrestling moments?
Oh, God.
But anyway, before we get to the epic wrestling moments...
Yeah, I could come up with an epic fail wrestling moment, but I don't know if...
Everyone
anyway,
can.
Let's
But anyway...
cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yes. Let's just cover a bit of the future of the Burning Truth, which is we have mentioned that we're going to be doing some possible game live streaming and everything. And as such, we'll be also, when we are going to be game live streaming, we'll be mentioning out just to point this out, if we are doing live streaming, we will not be using the Burning Truth streaming name as such, because the Burning Truth doesn't have one. We'll most likely have our own
streaming names.
Yes. Our own individual streaming channels. But at the moment, for myself, I'm actually on Twitch, which is, I believe, Matt Burns TV.
Lovely. I do believe I am not currently on Twitch, although there is someone that uses the name I would like to use. So, yeah, I'm not going to go there until I've investigated that further.
Yeah,
and how about...
Which is James Irvine 86.
There we go. But we will be putting the announcements out of when we are going to be going live, most likely on future episodes of the broadcast. At the moment, in case if anybody is wondering why we haven't jumped into it, because as we said it last week, the simple reason is we're trying to work out the technology to make it even more funnier, so you can actually see us at the same time, especially me, while I jump for the jump out of my damn wild skin.
Oh, I see. You want it to be an actual thing where it's a two-way camera and the reaction of Matt Burns is recorded for posterity.
Pretty much. Basically, for me to turn around and sit there and say, in my own mind, this is all for entertainment. This is all for entertainment. While I'm screaming like a little girl.
Don't cry for me.
Matthew Charles Edward Burnside.
Anyway. That is going to come at a later date. However, we are going to be possibly talking some non-wrestling topics because I believe that we're all gamers here. So, has there been any interesting games that you've been playing lately or anything you're looking forward to, guys?
Guys. Yeah, I have one.
Go on then.
Cyberpunk.
All right.
And you've gone really low, Irvine.
You are temporarily very quiet. Are you suddenly a long way away from the mic?
How's that?
Better.
Good.
Still distant, but better.
Still a bit distant, but still a bit better. But I believe you're on about the Cyberpunk, which, in case if anybody doesn't know, originally was actually scheduled for November, however, has been pushed back to December.
Yeah, I'm a bit gutted about that, to be honest.
The reason being... Would you like me to cover it quickly?
I was going to say, for those that aren't in the know, do not a little bit. Tell us what it's about and what we can expect from the game. And, well, if that's not apparent, why you're looking forward to it.
I'm not going to cover the game itself. I'm just going to cover the reason why it's been pushed back.
Okay.
The reason why it's been pushed back is because originally there was talk about them doing, the infamous, let's try, work through multiple hours, multiple shifts and everything, but only with the workers' permission if they want to. they found out there was more errors, and as such, they couldn't actually push it out the way it is. The game isn't ready, and instead of trying to push the staff to outrageous levels, they've decided to literally say, listen, we've got to put it off, otherwise we are going to be putting out a game that is not going to be the quality that we need it to be.
Take note, WWE.
Take note, 2K games. I think me and Irvine both had exactly the same idea there.
I love it.
Don't just go, fuck it, it's finished. Sell it to the bastards.
He fucking loves it, he does.
However, at the same time, I hope it doesn't fall into the same category as a other game that kept getting put off due to multiple corrections and never came out because, they even made a mockery of stating how long it had been in the development hell. That would be none other. Literally
talking the Guns N' Roses Chinese democracy of the game industry.
We are referring to the Duke Nukem Forever because it took that long to come out.
And then when it did, everyone was like,
"This is way outdated."
What are we waiting for?
Pretty much way outdated. Not many people enjoyed it, and by the time it came out, it was already outdated by years.
Well, at the moment, that sounds like fun. When did you say that was coming out?
December.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, what games are we all playing right now? That is what I want to know.
Modern Warfare.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Well,
at the same time,
Call of Duty Modern didn't that come out in like 2010?
Yes.
Yes,
It's
the revamped version.
2020.
They still keep updating it, which is an interesting topic to possibly cover on a future episode.
Okay, fair enough.
It could be on its own topic.
There's me.
Because
I've had my entire life exclusively absorbed by the absolute wonder that is a set course of competition.
Yes, but at the same time, I believe Call of Duty is lining up for next week, if I'm not mistaken, to be releasing Cold War. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Is that a whole new game in the Black Ops series
game,
rather than a remastering of a 10-year-old one?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Or are you still... Is it a remastering of the 10-year-old one, or are you just still playing the same 10-year-old game that they just keep updating bits of? Like, say you're basically playing the base code of FIFA 14, but they've just added this year's teams and kits to it.
Pretty much.
God.
Pretty much.
God, it's really weird.
And the best thing about it is they're actually doing most of the updates for how much? How much is it to play the game, Irvine?
For which one?
Modern Warfare, especially the Warzone mode.
The Warzone mode's free.
Yeah.
All right.
Multiplayer and the campaign isn't, although they always have deals coming out regularly in regards to it. They do actually have a season pass where you can, which is mostly for cosmetics if you're interested in it, and doesn't actually affect the gaming outcome or anything. So it's not a pay to win. You actually have to earn your damn win.
Yeah, that's fair. But when you two do streaming and or talking about that, I'll just be sat in the background going, boring. Because it's not my cup of tea.
True.
I have never enjoyed games where the sole and exclusive purpose is kill everything. Not my idea of fun.
I was going to dip into another game that I've recently got into which I've literally just got into the game called Katana Zero.
Wow. Apologies if you just nearly had your ears cut off by that.
I'll repeat that.
Noise that came from, I believe, Irvine's microphone. But just say that again, please, Matt Burns.
It was Katana Zero, which I've actually got through the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass.
Okay.
Generally an interesting one because it's one of them games where it's got multiple endings. Okay, it's not in the format of what you say to where you pretty much have to kill everything. It's a little platform slasher game, but it's done in a bit of a retro style format, and I can only say it's got a unique dynamic twist to it and a nice retro feel to it, but also the story plot of it is feeling very very modern at the same time, even though it's looking like it's using retro graphics at the same time, which is very, very clever.
I see what you're saying. No, that sounds. If you like that sort of game, that actually sounds great.
Definitely for retro gamers who are into proper, platformers, jumpers. But here's the best thing about it is it has multiple choice in which direction you want it to lead to.
Yes.
I like The Walking Dead for that.
Fair enough.
And another good game series, which I believe is Telltale, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Telltale, and the Batman one as well. And the...
Oh my god, you lot all play totally different games to me, and it's like, ugh, I can't add to this.
You can't. We gathered. But then again, we've also got retro gamers in some others. But yeah, yourself, I believe you're into your driving games. If I'm not mistaken.
As I say, my main things that I've been playing at the moment have been F1 2020, because of the addition that they finally added to the game. They've only been Codemasters have only been making the Formula One game every year since 2010, and they finally added the thing where you can create your own team rather than just race for the existing ones. So I have been creating Team Burning Truth. Hint, that's not what the team's called, but I just thought it would be fun to shoehorn that in. And starting at the back like a 1989 Minardi, and just slowly but surely trying to win Formula One races.
Now,
in the same token,
if I'm not mistaken, by the way,
yes,
there is some racing games coming out in future, if I'm not mistaken.
There are quite a few racing games coming. Just recently, Project Cars 3 came out, which is a very sore point, which I may discuss at one point if I buy it, but I have no plans to. But if I don't buy it, I'll explain why not. Dirt 5, which is the latest in the Codemasters Rally series that started with the games that were called Colin McRae Dirt back in the day. Dirt 5 is due out. In fact, I think it came out yesterday.
I'll
sometime
double
earlier
check
in the
it.
week.
Yeah, I believe I'll give you a quick check for you.
Yeah, I think it
when
was
it came out.
6th that came out. So that's not actually yesterday at all. That was earlier in the week.
No.
I thought it was the 9th, but I think it was
No,
the 6th.
it was the 6th.
Yeah.
The 6th, which is
came out.
Codemasters.
Yeah, which is cool. That's out soon. No, that's out now. And
That's out now.
the other game that's been eating my life, as I say, because it's a representation of GT3 racing, which if you're into your racing, you'll know what that is. That's the class of cars that look like road cars but are a bit faster. The ones that go round at Le Mans and other 24-hour races that aren't the ones that win outright, the slightly slower class of cars, and Assetto Corsa Competition, which came out for PC 3 or 4 years ago, but which, with updates of teams and drivers, came out for Xbox in about June, which, because you can run full-length races, so if you so wish, you can run a Bathurst 12 hours or a full real-time Spa 24 hours, basically has the capacity to eat your life if you enjoy that sort of thing.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe a racing game has been remastered as well recently, and was released on the November 6th as well.
I don't doubt it has, but in order to not completely steal your thunder, I'm going to let you say what it was.
Yes, I know this might be shocking that I'm actually covering a racing game.
I know. Next thing, you'll actually get me playing Call of Duty or something.
No, this is actually a game that was actually published by Electronic Arts. We'll cover that.
You're about to say the three gaming words that even I, as a racing fan, are the equivalent of me saying out loud what VFR stands for to you, aren't you?
Developed by Starlight Entertainment Limited, which is Need for Speed.
Vince Russo.
Anyway, the point being is,
seriously, Kryptonite. You say one, I have to say the other to balance things out.
I'm okay with this one because I will say myself, I've actually played Hot Pursuit myself, and it's not one of the worst games ever. and if you're into your Need for Speed series, it's actually a more gentle one. If you're not into your track racing, it is one that if you just out there, into car chases, police chases, and everything, it is one I would recommend and possibly pursuit.
Put it this way.
I had to.
Put it this way. I personally value like racing series, simulation games that replicate real world racing situations, like Assetto Corsa, like the NASCAR games, like Formula One, over. Oh look, I'm in a car that does 900 miles a second, and yet somehow the police can still catch me. Bullshit games, in my humble opinion. But that is to each their own. I know that nice fat shit has plenty of loyal idiots, fans, that for some reason like it, and so it is a valid game. It's just extensively not my cup of tea.
It's not your cup of tea, however, it could be many others.
But that's ironic because neither is tea.
But anyway, point being is at least I didn't mention any of the other series, but it's just an interesting one to point out.
Yeah. Put it this way, I was far more interested about a year ago when they re-released and remastered Burnout Paradise. Because if there's a kind of game like that, I'd rather play Burnout over the other lot. But to each their own.
Although, even though I haven't played the remastered version, I just hope EA haven't done what they've been doing lately with most of their games, which is, oh look, loot box.
Yeah, luckily, no. Even Forza Motorsport 7 fell victim to that, and everyone complained so constantly and loudly that the first major update they did 6 months into the game took them out again.
Oh, by the way, did you know that EA are actually getting sued by multiple countries?
What? Because it's essentially promoting gambling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Loot box. But anyway,
hope they lose.
I think that's going to be a nice place to end non-wrestling subjects.
Unless Mr. Baron von Irvine has anything to add.
I fell asleep when you mentioned racing games.
Not a problem. Would you like to mention any games that you want to mention?
Yeah. Make us fall asleep. Talk about something in great detail that you like.
Actually, I'm going to bring into the mix of classic games that I like.
Ooh.
The first Metal Gear.
Oh.
Anybody? Instant classic. And I'm really going to piss on your parade here, JB, but I'm a big fan of Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. The rest are dog shit.
Well, I don't see how either of them really differ from all the others, but to each their own. The only Need for Speed game that I thought ever showed promise was Shift, and because that tried to be a sort of Forza clone, and unfortunately it only showed a tiny bit of promise, and it turned out to be a broken piece of dog turd, which is why they didn't carry on down that line of development, but it was a nice try.
For me, it wasn't the gameplay or anything like that. It was just it represented more of a time where I was in my life at that moment in time.
No, that's perfectly understandable.
It's a good nostalgia, and I've still got my PlayStation 2 that I play it on. So,
good reference.
I did actually think about going in a, electronics shop that you can give all your unwanted electronics to that sells stuff like nostalgia consoles, and seeing if I could get a PS1, just so that I can see if I can also get myself an old copy of Destruction Derby 2, which is possibly the greatest retro racing game ever made.
Okay, now you've caught my attention.
Ooh.
Now you've got my attention.
So how much might either reconditioned or by now probably 14th hand or been on the shelves for 9 years in the shop PS1 cost these days?
I have
nothing for me.
Sorry?
Nothing for me.
You still got one. Lucky you.
Yeah.
I wish I'd kept mine. I really do.
Yeah, I'm me.
Although it's had to have a few times. I've had to literally fix it multiple times.
Yeah, well, what do you expect, really? Just they are getting on a bit now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Although it still does the infamous startup noise.
Do you remember the? Do you remember when you used to have to turn it upside down so you read the disc?
I was just about to say, you've now just plugged into some of the repairs about to sort it out.
Yeah.
You know how that is? Interestingly enough,
Is it the runner for the laser?
the laser's dropped, and you've got to sort of relift it back up to get it working again if you're wanting to do it properly.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
So you had to
gone are the
invert
days.
it. Yeah, it sounds a little bit like it was the forerunner to the wrap a wet tea towel around it to prevent red ring of death Xbox 360
Oh
debacle.
God! Yeah, I had that as well. Hey, you're
No,
welcome.
that was the two light.
Welcome to Microsoft Helpline. How may I help you? My Xbox is broken. Yes, I'll send you a new one, but you must send us your old one.
Oh, really? And how long will that take? 28 working weeks. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hey, mine only took a week.
3 weeks.
Mine only took a week.
Well, speaking as someone that literally
Wait,
used
no.
Xbox-
I didn't add on. Let me finish my line. 3 weeks for it to arrive there.
Oh, 3 weeks for it to arrive to go from your house to theirs before they did
Supposedly.
anything with it or put it in a warehouse for 6 months and then remember to send you back someone else's.
Supposedly, yeah.
Here's
Supposedly,
one I refurbished earlier.
no. Supposedly, even though I put it in for first class.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, they weren't like consoles. That box must have cost you a fortune in postage.
Oh yeah.
I was not a happy bunny.
I can completely imagine. That does sound like they somewhat had you over a barrel.
A bit
And
like
to
the
make-
prices that the new consoles have got us all over a barrel.
Yeah, go on. How much are they? I haven't actually dared look yet.
Well, let's just put it this way. If I was first buying a console, first ever console that I'd ever bought, I'd buy the Xbox because it's cheaper. And
Well, this is the reason why I ended up buying an Xbox 360, 250 quid with Forza Motorsport 2 included, and not a PS3, 400 quid with no games.
exactly. And the believe it or not, the PS3 was more popular, and they had the problem with the PlayStation Network as well because it was free. It was open to hacking. Remember the big
And
hack?
it was massively hacked, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I remember the joke that lots of Xbox players put online around
Would
about the
you
time.
like to know
That
the
was why they
prices?
found Saddam Hussein, because he put his details on PlayStation Network.
Irvine, do you have the price for the PlayStation 5? Is it?
your what? Sorry.
Do you have
Do
the
you
price
have the-
for the
Of
new
the
console?
PlayStation 5.
Do I have the what?
The price for the PlayStation 5.
The price? I think it. What was it now? Is it $450?
Right. I can give you the price for the Xbox consoles, which, as I said, consoles. Right.
Yeah.
For them, and this is through the Xbox itself. So prices may vary depending on where you're getting it from. Now the Xbox X Series is £450, which is the full game where you put discs in, do your
The
storage and
flagship
everything.
model, yeah.
The one that supposedly people keep mocking it as a fridge, as a mini fridge.
Because it's bloody enormous. Yes.
And then you've got the Xbox Series S.
Which is the slimline version, which I believe saves a little bit of time and weight by not bothering to have a disk drive.
And it's install only.
And that costs,
£250.
which is actually really not bad if you bear in mind that a brand new Xbox One cost 500 quid 7 years ago.
£200 extra just to add a fucking CD drive.
I know.
But whoa. Take into account with the X Series,
Series X.
yes, you actually, with the Xbox Series X, you actually have the hard disk, which means you'll actually have the actual disk in hand, which means if something went wrong, it doesn't get pulled off and you can't play the game straight away because you've got the disc with the actual licensing on the
Well,
disc.
speaking as someone that has exclusively downloaded games from the Xbox store for the last 4 years, that's not really a problem. But
However, with the online, some people prefer to have the capability. However, with the Xbox Series X, I believe it has a bigger memory as well, massively bigger memory.
Whereas the PlayStation 5 is apparently targeted at the same price.
Yes,
£449.
and if I'm not mistaken, they've also got a online only version as well.
Yeah. Well, in North America, it will be $499 or $399 for the digital edition.
Yeah.
So basically, 500 or 400. Whereas an Xbox was, what would you say, 500 or 250?
It's 450 for the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, well, versus 449 for the PS5 with the disc drive.
Yeah, and then 250 or 240, well, 24999 for the Series or Xbox
versus
Series
349 for the no disc drive PlayStation 5.
Jesus Christ! I may as well just bend over and pull down my pants now.
No, but seriously, that's not actually bad because the Xbox One came out 8 years ago, and when that was launched, that was £500. So they're not actually any more expensive. So that's really,
Yeah.
Net. Bearing in mind that the way the world works, the price of everything constantly goes up. 8 years later, it's the same price. That's a win.
However, also, additionally with some of the Xbox games as well, some of the games are actually Series X and Series S compatible as well, meaning once you download one version of the game, you actually get the upgraded version when you actually get the console.
Dirt 5 is a prime example of that. It is available now on the Xbox One, but it comes with forward compatibility so that should you buy yourself a Series X in the future, you can download the Series X version for free because you've bought the Xbox One edition, which is kind of cool.
And that's also the same for, I believe, for Call of Duty Cold War as well.
Yeah, I believe it's any number of what will be launch titles for the Series X, but Dirt was just the one that I was aware of because it's the one I'm most likely to buy.
Dirt is one. I believe another one that is a game that has actually recently come out and I've heard good reviews on, which would be actually Watch Dogs Legion from a few colleagues of mine.
Uh-huh.
As well.
Series.
Could you repeat that?
I'm not interested in that series.
No, everyone's to their own, but there is signs and messages on which one's which in regards to it. I believe Cyberpunk is one as well.
Would you like to know what the Xbox Series X launch games are so far?
Well, let's be quick because we are going to have to push on to the epic moments.
And this is from GamesRadar.com 6 days ago. So, confirmed up as far as 6 days ago, Xbox Series X launch titles are Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion, Dirt 5, Yakuza 7, Tetris Effect.
Do you mean Yakuza Like a Dragon?
Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. That's what it says here.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tetris Effect, Gears Tactics, Fortnite, and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. As well as something called Bright Memory and Devil May Cry 5.
Ooh, I can actually update that list with Observer System Redux and also Planet Coaster. And
something called Evergate, NBA 2K21,
Poker Club, Immortal Phoenix Rising,
Warhammer Chaos Bane Slayer Edition,
Hitman 3.
Yeah, basically, it's not going to be one of the things like that I was worried about when the Xbox One initially came out, which is, it's lovely and shiny, but what the buggery hell am I going to play on it? There's plenty to choose from.
Exactly, and I believe Far Cry 6 and Outriders and Medium are also included in that list as well.
Yes, and it is the first...
I'm on my own here because these two are Xbox mad and
you are on the dark side, yes.
However, I believe the PlayStations may actually have some backward compatibility as well.
They're going to have some backward compatibility issues, yeah.
Well, the theory with the Series X, the Xbox at least, is it will be fully backward compatible. So, like the forward compatibility of the games you buy now, but if you don't get a Series X straight away, in theory, if you do buy a Series X now, but you don't want any games for it, you can play all the ones from your
Not
current
all.
Xbox.
Not all.
Well, no. Obviously, they've got to wait and allow some more to be released later to give you a bit of suspense, but quite a few of your current Xbox One games will immediately work on the Series X.
The games.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've digressed enough. Shall we move on to our epic wrestling moments, or epic wrestling moments for the truth?
Epic wrestling fail, depending on what we've got.
Go with the fail, because I've got a good one.
Actually, shall we do one each?
I think we should do one each.
Yeah,
And since you mentioned it, Irvine, ladies first. I mean, after you.
Ladies first? Did you just say ladies first?
He attempted to.
How dare you assume my gender?
No comment to that.
Anyway.
Point being, you go first.
Yes, I shall go first because whatever. Anyway,
you're the youngest host, as in you are the most recent host to join us.
Yes, you have been on the Burning Truth the least amount of time, so you go first.
Okay, I will go with, it's actually not just an epic moment, it was an epic match. I think I mentioned it earlier. Walter and Dragunov in the UK NXT. They had an absolute pillar of a match, and it was absolutely brutal.
Oh, yes.
Brutal to watch, and it was actually yourself, Mr. Burns, that sent me the link to the commentary version where you have got HBK and you've got Cesaro, Sheamus, Bad News Barrett, Drew McIntyre, all of them commenting on... Yeah, and William Regal. And it was just like... just hearing their reaction will tell you enough about this match.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't just need to see it. It's brutal, but it's amazingly brutal.
I will point out one thing though. Drake Maverick, if he's mentioning Walter, he's not German. He's Austrian.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
I picked up on that, and I was like, really? It's like Hitler. He wasn't German, for God's sake.
No, he's not German. He's very much not German. In the same way that Ilya Dragunov is not German. He lived there since he was 5, but he's actually Russian. Have you noticed, however, by the way, as an aside to that, how everyone on NXT, when they get their names come up on the screen for the graphics now, has the flag of their nationality behind it?
Yes.
I thought that was quite a nice touch.
Yeah.
It's a good touch.
Because, of course, up until NXT started, in the main roster, it would have been American, 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 Canadian, Canadian, American, 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 Canadian, Mexican, American, 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 Canadian. Oh, Davey Boy Smith, American,
British.
American, Canadian, American. You get my point. There was bugger all diversity. But now, it's a good thing that they are embracing the whole world of wrestling.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So that match, is that your epic moment?
That is my epic moment. The whole match.
And he's actually stole mine.
Ha!
There you go. Did anyone else watch Halloween Havoc? Yeah.
Yes.
Did anyone else catch Beth Phoenix's slip of the tongue?
No idea what you're on about.
I think I was half asleep, but okay, you're going to have to fill me in on this one.
It's not a massive thing. It's just what she said and what that is slang for in this country.
Oh, God.
She might have slipped and accidentally referred to a certain recently returned NXT star as Ember Poon. I don't know what she was saying the sentence before that, on what she slipped up and what she was getting it confused with, or what she said, but
You got a sweet poon.
needless to say, that
Sweet
was the
poon.
one low light in all of Halloween Havoc. Well, that and
Keep going.
the insistence on having old Johnny Triple Crown win because someone with a Scream mask on had to help him.
Oh, God.
Which is going to be interesting to find out how that's going to turn out.
Yes, if it is on next week's NXT, you probably already know. I'll have to wait till they put it on the network next week. Yeah, but anyway, it will also be more interesting if it turns out that it isn't Pat McAfee. That's all I'm saying.
I can verify for you, it is not.
Oh, well, that's good then.
Just to make you smile.
But yeah, that's my epic fail moment because it's just a light one. It doesn't detract from how great Halloween Havoc was or how brutal Ilya Dragunov against Volta was. So it's just a little
Yes,
sort of
She likes the sweet poon.
silly footnote.
Sweet, sweet poon.
Right.
Do you have another one, Matt Burns? Bearing in mind
I
you
have
took
one.
yours.
I have one.
Okay, because
I don't have a date.
Okay.
I actually have it from ECW.
Ooh, interesting.
And it's from a promo as well.
And they can all kiss my ass. Sorry, what?
The irony is, the fact is, it's actually that person I'm on about.
What a guess.
But it's not that moment.
No.
Because this is a fail.
Ah, okay then.
Because I believe he was referring to Sabu and Sandman in a triple threat, stating that he had destroyed Sabu's knee into obliterate.
Was he trying to say oblivion?
No, he actually turned around. He actually used the terminology like obliteratory.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
What was it? Was that his Scott Steiner impersonation promo?
No, this is before. I think this was even before Scott Steiner even went off the rails.
Wow. Okay.
Obliteratory. I believe he may have actually got that added into the dictionary. I think.
Did somebody accidentally write his script in crayon?
Possibly.
I fucking love colouring.
Why did you saying it like that make me want to do a bad Snoop Dogg impression and say, did somebody say just eat?
Yeah.
Did somebody say just eat? Eat the sweet poon.
Did somebody say somebody needs the money?
I'm just trying to find if he has actually got it added into the dictionary.
Politically.
Can I just also point out, by the way, for an epic moment, for me, if we're doing one each, because the fail was just a little slip of the tongue thing, it's not something we should dwell on. For an epic moment, personally, from Halloween Havoc,
Yeah.
can we have Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez again? And this time, can we give them half an hour and let them actually carry on beating the living shit out of each other, please?
And can we also add a swimming pool with melted chocolate? Oh, no, sorry, I was thinking like Vince.
Wrong direction.
Yeah,
Wrong direction.
you're thinking like Attitude Era Divas management. No, stop. Those two.
Wrong direction.
Those two basically trying to outdo Kyle O'Reilly and bloody Finn Balor in the kicking 7 shades out of each other category is to be applauded.
Yes.
They'll never quite get to the Walter and Dragunov level, but they had a good go.
Oof.
Oh.
That's one person I could not take a chop off.
What, Walter?
No. I don't call it a chop.
Chop off him because he'd probably eat you for trying to take his chops off him.
No, the way I think about it is, his wrestling chops, I don't call them chops. I call them freaking cardiac arrest.
I call them lamb chops, pork chops.
Someone's hungry, I guess. So I think we'll need to move on.
Yeah, I think there are two people that I would not like to take a chop off, frankly. I think there's him, and frankly, I'd pass if the Big Show offered as well.
Oh,
Actually, there's a third. There's a third person you wouldn't want to have a chop off.
Great Khali, I know that one.
No, there's one. This person's actually somehow got more vicious hand than Khali. Oddly. And I believe someone found that out on Impact when this person was wrestling there at the time.
Oh yeah,
a person who used to decree, "Do you know who I am?"
And the answer was a resounding, "Do you know who you are?" After you've taken that chop, sunshine.
Yeah.
That would be none other than Bully Ray.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe you remembered what I was referring to, didn't you, when I mentioned Impact, didn't you, Irvine?
Yeah.
Oh, them chops he used to do. Oh.
Needless to say, they're quite brutal.
Yeah.
But I think everyone in Impact got their collective receipt that time during the Fish Market Street fight when Shark Boy swatted him badly enough that any other normal person would have got a concussion round the head with a gutted halibut.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yes.
Pretty much.
So anyway, we're all focusing on positive moments this week, which is good.
Yeah.
Ripley versus Gonzalez. Dragunov against Walter, and...
Oh, another positive.
I put on the Bolidicree.
Yes. Okay, that's a fail, but hey, that's good. Bit of balance.
It's a funny
another
fail.
positive.
Another positive. AEW Full Gear. Hurricane Helms. And... your main man.
Your main man?
You know who he is.
Would this be the gentleman formerly known as Gangrel?
Yes. Not Gangrene, Gangrel.
Also known as David Heath.
Yes. What an absolute moment that... Oh, God. It's just... It's absolutely brilliant. That is so funny.
At least one of us has actually met him.
Yeah. Yeah. At least he's not Tatanka.
Could you repeat that?
He's not Tatanka,
though. No, what did you say, JB?
No, I was just saying, well, there you go. You've met... I assume you were referring to Gangrel.
Yeah, I've met him.
Congratulations.
And I will never forget meeting him, because I had to do, at the time, this was quite a few years ago, I ended up doing a favour and donning and having to brush up on my referee skills.
I see. Last minute, because the ref didn't show up, referee Burns.
All I'll say to you is, I had to go out and not burst out laughing for what he had told me in the back locker room.
What, you basically had to look him in the eye and not dissolve based on something he told you before you went through the curtain?
Pretty much, yeah.
Was it a potentially libelous thing which you can't reveal here?
Oh, no, I can't actually reveal. It had me absolutely in stitches.
Well, then waste no more time. Reveal it.
All I'll say to you is he's there with his chalice, with his blood literally snarling, looking mean. And I'll be honest with you, he is a big dude. Yeah. He's a lot bigger than you think. Right? He's more muscular than you think.
Yeah.
Coming snarling up to me, and, grunting, looking like he's about to rip me head off. Leans in and goes, "Do you like My Little Pony?"
Oh dear.
And I'm like, has he just seriously asked me that?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ask my friend Pinkie Pie.
Genuinely, I'm just now thinking to myself, I'm about to go out. I've got not a lot to laugh. I've got to look at the same time, sort of, and not be intimidated by someone at the same time, but also not laugh.
Did you get asked by him if you would let him do his rendition of the friendship song?
Oddly enough, he actually asked that after the match. But I'm not going to digress on if there was a yes or no, but genuinely, it was a match I absolutely loved being involved with. I believe it was Gangrel versus James Mason.
Oh, well, that would have been an old school British wrestling technical classic.
It was genuinely and absolutely brilliant. One I will always remember in my mind.
Fair enough.
But anyway, I believe that is going to be it for this
what
week.
has been a frankly chaotic special where we've barely mentioned the fact that it's the 6th anniversary of the Burning Truth.
Yeah, I think we got that in at the start.
Just enough, yeah.
Well, in that first 15 minutes that belong to a parallel universe where all rules of common sense and making any sense are suspended.
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't really make a serious comment all the way through the show.
We noticed.
We gathered.
Quite you.
But anyway, next week, we haven't got any topics for next week. We'll probably wing it by ear or such, because at the moment
bound to come up.
Something majorly. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll just get on to the plugs. For this week, I'm just going to be as quickly as possible. I'll just state the following. We recommend you check out UK Wrestling Alliance. We, of course, also recommend you check out some amazing charitable organisations, be it the Changes for Health and Wellbeing, Change and Recovery Radio, Mind, Message from Mind, Don Louise Hospice Care for Children and Young People, and of course Cancer Research UK. We of course also recommend you check out the lighter side of professional wrestling, be it either Botchamania, you're welcome Matthew, WrestleCrap,
nice one RD Reynolds,
and of course OSW Review, especially the What Bar Are They This Week? Absolutely amazing series, guys, including with some special guest appearances from Matthew. Of course,
Botchamania fame, just in case you're not sure.
Of course. We of course also recommend you check out many of our colleagues' broadcast, be it either Pull or Pass Radio, We're the Independent, Think Wrestling, Train Pop Culture, Hatred Theory, and many others. We of course also recommend you check out Kayfabe Music. They do absolutely amazing music. We of course also recommend you check out Powered Forward TV as well. And we always recommend you to check out your local wrestling promotions, be it either Future Championship Wrestling, United Wrestling, Pro Wrestling View, Future Shock Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Fallen Star Wrestling, Venom Wrestling Federation, Slam Wrestling, Woman Pro Wrestling, and of course, I believe the Barracks Academy Wrestling, and many, many more.
And of course, we also recommend that if you want to check out your local wrestling company, it wasn't any of them, and you want to find out if there is one in your local area, there's a way you can do it.
And just in case if I haven't mentioned your favourite wrestling promotion, I apologise. I don't know them all off by heart.
But like I say,
I'm not the memory man, unfortunately.
No, but you can look up your local area on a certain free app, hint, which will let you know exactly where your local promotion is, and, well, in this stage, probably when they plan to recommence shows, but under normal circumstances, when the next one would be. And what is that app called, Mr. Matt Burns?
It is called Babyface Wrestling App. They don't just have that knowledge on there of wrestlers. They've also got, you can follow wrestlers as well. And they've also got, I believe, they've also got some blog stuff on there as well.
Ooh, yeah. And that comes to you all for the fundamentally acceptable price of free.
Nothing.
Nil. Nilch. Zilch. Zada. Sod all. Nothing.
Oh, can you also tell them what website you can search them on, Mr. Burns? Is it? It begins with a G. You remember what that is?
I'll be getting to that a bit later.
Aha, okay, well, thanks for the prompt. He'll mention that in due course.
I am
or
not
possibly
mentioning
he
that.
won't.
I am not mentioning that app yet because I'll make sure to not become. I believe it's Arkwright. All I'll just state is you can actually check us out, The Burning Truth, which is we've got a website which is www.theburningtruthuk.com.
Yeah.
However, we will state that yes, we have a blog.
Yes, there's currently one entry in it.
Until
A weekly blog
this week,
next week,
or next
and
week.
any additional ones that we can come up with during the time. But hopefully we should have more content on there. But we do actually have some past stuff on there in the blog. It's already heavily filled with predictions, I believe reviews, be it written or be it the audio as well. We've also got external links on there, but
we cannot be held
do not
responsible
hold
for the content of
responsible
any
for-
external links.
And of course, we have also got merch on there, which will be getting bigger, more items added onto it soon. But until then,
This broadcast has been brought to you by 1-800 Buy Matt Burns merch.
and I'm not a merch
Burns
whore.
merch hotline.
No
Anyway, let's just push on. You can check us out on our social media, be it either Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram. You can listen to past or current episodes of The Burning Truth, be it either through the website, Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Deezer, and other sources.
Google Podcasts, Deezer, and many other sources where podcasts are presented.
And hopefully, I believe we should be going on to an additional source in the future.
More details as they emerge.
Correct. And that is going to be a wrap up for this week's episode. So hopefully our ending segment, which is the usual mental health.
Mental health is important. Look after yours. You'll miss it when it's gone.
Would you care to add anything on, Irvine, before I go?
Yes, I would. Look after your mental health, because clearly I've lost mine right now.
Yes.
And
treat Mr. Irvine as a cautionary tale. If you do not want to end up like him, take care of yourself. Not just
Please
physically,
do.
but mentally too.
I just
Correct.
want to say one thing, kids. Don't smoke crack.
Right, I'm just going to push on and just say it is okay to be not okay. Ladies and gentlemen, don't ever think it's not, that you're in the wrong for not feeling okay. That is never the case, and asking for help is never a weakness, because in doing so, by asking, you can end up finding out that, people care for you more than what you could ever know. And of course, borrowing a quote from Tom Campbell of Cultaholic, never compare your behind the scenes to other people's greatest hits. Of course, make yourself a priority once in a while. It's not selfish, it's necessary.
Pamper yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be it either a spa day, relax, or anything. Make sure you look after yourself.
Even a fresh pair of shorts.
If
And,
you can possibly
of course,
peel the old ones off.
Yes.
Anyway, and if you can be anything at this moment in time, please be more kind.
Exactly.
I'm kind.
And with that being all said, I hope you all, hope you all stay well and stay safe, and hopefully catch you on the next episode. But until then, we hope you, check out your local wrestling promotions, give a call to family members or anybody you haven't spoken to in a long while, because just a message, a call, a text, any form of communication could actually prove massively useful and could end up making their day. But until then, I've been Matt Burns.
Special outro.
I've been John Bloor.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's been Matt Burns. He's been JB. I'm James Irvine. Ta-ra till next week.
And on
with
that
that-
bombshell, it's time to end the show. Thanks for listening,
Correct.
and good night.
And with that, it's been emotional. Catch you next week.